It's what my character would do. Those are the famous words GMs and players alike dread to hear. My name is Liz. I've been a GM for a couple Pathfinder games for a few years, and luckily I've never had a player utter these dreaded words. However, I think this phrase is considered cursed when it's really the behavior of the player that's the issue, and that is something that I've experienced a little bit. When my coworker invited me to his game of D&D, and I think it was 2017, I made a character for the first time ever. Her name was Box, named after the box that she lived in. She was a chaotic sorcerer child, and that's really all I knew about her. I didn't know manners or customs of a D&D table, and she made choices that were negative to the party. Luckily, scheduling didn't work out, and it never really hurt the party because the game ended after 2 sessions. However, I did do risky things in those brief 2 sessions because that's what Box would do. The issue was not that I was playing to my character, the issue was that I made a character that didn't care about the party. As a player, I didn't consider how my or Box's actions would affect the other players at the table, and that was the issue. If your character does something selfish, foolhardy, or rude, that's okay. But you as a player need to be aware of how it affects the rest of the group and make sure the group is okay with that. You don't need to run every action by the other players, but if you're about to do something big, Iona thinks what this bureaucrat is saying is crap, and she wants to let them know that. But I don't want to throw out our chances of landing this job. Looking around, what does she think the other characters are thinking? If you're about to make a big, game-altering decision, it's important to have the other players on board. That way, when your character does something they would do, you're backed by the other players, even if not by the other characters. Remember, you're making a story together. The issue with making a edgy, rude, belligerent character is that you as the player are making the choice to make them that way. It's what my character would do. Yeah, but you made the character. You chose to make them want to do that. When players have a habit of making inherently anti-party characters, that's where the issue comes up. It's what my character would do becomes it's what I want to do. For those toxic players, my character doesn't like your character, often bleeds into or reveals, I don't like you. That's what you as a GM or even another player needs to be aware of. It's okay for characters to not like each other, but when in-game decisions bleed into real-life animosity, we need to take a break and decide if the party is working well. Sometimes that means removing a player from the game, sometimes it means dissolving the party entirely if multiple people aren't getting along. That's just my 2 cents anyway. In my experience, when players don't like each other, it's a bad omen of failed games to come. TTRPGs are personal, and if players don't get along, it's a recipe for disaster. And I found the players who drag personal conflict into games are the type to say, it's what my character would do, after an anti-party action. But again, that's just from my personal experience. But thanks for listening, and happy adventuring!